women who get together with other women are healthier, happier, and stronger.
Now we can make some figure eights with our hips. Figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight. Woo!
By the time I met Mickey, I had already contemplated suicide, and I was developing a plan. That's how dark my life had gotten.
Because I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me.
Hello, Hagerstown. Welcome to Prime Time for Women. I am just so glad that you're here. Prime Time for Women is the show for and about in their prime. Thank you. Yes, it is. Thank you so much for being here today. So I wanted to start today's show off by saying Happy Mother's Day to every single person in the audience. Now, I realize that not every single person here is a mother, but we all have a mother. This is one of the few, it is probably the only thing that we have absolutely in common with every other person in the world. Everybody has a mother. So if you think about that, I mean, really, just think about the one thing that you have in common with everybody. It's this incredible connection. And so what I would like to do is ask all of you to stand and to recognize your mothers and the mothers of the world that make us one family. So please stand up and give a wild round of applause for mothers everywhere. Thank you for being here. Now what I'd like to do is ask the mothers in the room, those who have children, to please stay standing, and everybody else to be seated. I'd like to thank you for your gift to the world, your children. Thank you for being here today and for modeling for your children what it is to be a good citizen of the world. So thank you so much for being here. So speaking of mothers, I was at book club 2 weeks ago, and I had this really tough pang for a minute there. I was really missing my mom. And it started out with, we were having this discussion at book club about our wrinkles, our face wrinkles and our neck wrinkles and our décolletage wrinkles. I mean, what? Isn't that what your book club talks about? I don't know. We eventually got to the book. But anyhow, there was a lot of conversation around different creams or lotions that might be productive, cosmetic surgery. One friend was talking about if you tilt your head like this, then you look younger. So I was going to walk around like this the whole show. Is it working? Yeah. And I said, well, maybe we should just embrace our wrinkles. Like this is us. This is who we are at this stage in our life. It's a lovely map of our life's journey. And somebody said, Bernadette, that is total BS. So anyhow, I said I was trying. And then they didn't go for that. So I said, but if my mom was here, she could give us all an automatic facelift just by French braiding our hair. I mean, when I was a kid, she did these French braids. Not just me, I have 6 sisters, and in the summer, she would line us up on Mondays, and those French braids went in on Monday, and they didn't come out till Friday. But on Mondays, we looked like exceptionally bright, very curious children, very happy because we couldn't close our mouths. And we couldn't even blink our eyes. I mean, it was great. So I am missing my mom, but I'm really happy that my mother-in-law is here today, and she was my mom's best friend, so it's a very special day for me. So thanks for being here, Grandma. So we have a very great show lined up today, and especially looking to honor mothers. Takesh Martinez, our poet laureate, is going to be performing a poem, and we have a video montage that we will share that was created by women in the audience and women across our county and community that shared pictures of their mothers. So I hope you enjoy that. We also have Julie Gaver, and Julie Gaver is an author, a speaker. She's a dynamic person. I can't tell you too much about her because I want you to be surprised, but believe me, you're in for a treat. And I also wanted to let you know that we have 2 women on the show today that are, for me, role models. They are women who have chosen to follow their passions and have stepped outside of what they were doing to create something new. So that is Carissa Hipp and also Heidi Bodenheimer. I'm so glad that they're here with us today. So before we go to commercial break, I just want to thank our sponsors who make this possible: Antietam Broadband, Meredith Health, Steady Entertainment, Smart TV, and of course the Women's Club, who host this in their beautiful historic facility. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
The Humane Society of Washington County offers refuge to domestic animals in need, animals like Romeo. Starved and abandoned in the bitter cold, Romeo is not the first animal found in this desperate condition, and he won't be the last. You can help give innocent animals another chance. Even a $10 monthly donation can help the Humane Society of Washington County act quickly to save lives. Can the animals count on you? Visit hswcmd.org to learn more.
If you add it up, 12 spots a year for 25 years, close to 300 different commercials I've used Antietam cable production for. In terms of the experience with the production department, the truth is, we've become friends because we've done it so often. The staff is very, very professional. They make it easy for me to do the spot. That's the biggest thing. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And it works. It brings people to the dealership. And that's all I can ask.
This changes everything. TiVo is here. Search and control your cable channels, on demand and streaming video with one remote. Record 6 shows at once and build a library of favorites with one pass recording. Then watch on any TV in your home. Welcome to the ultimate TV experience. Call or visit AntietamBroadband.com to change everything with TiVo.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meritus Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meritus Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meritushealth.com/urgent care.
Welcome back to Prime Time for Women. It has been so much fun working with Takesha, our poet laureate, this season of Prime Time for Women. She always comes with words that touch our hearts and inspire us and challenge our minds. So today, I'm really excited because in the past, all the other poems she has performed that were her original work, she didn't name. She doesn't typically name her poetry in spoken word poetry. Apparently, that's a thing. But this one she did, and it's because it's such a special poem to her. It's called Mental Feedings. And please welcome Takesha to the stage.
Amen, amen. Right from the beginning, I felt the need to nurture my seeds as they grew in my tummy. I doubled my intake of strength, made sure to take my daily vitamin of faith. Through me, they were receiving their first taste of life, so I was careful to only consume things that were right. In the moment that they entered the world, I fed them double bottles of love. And as they grew, I spoon-fed them trust. I kept them close in the early years, wiping their mouths as they purged up their fears. I filled them back up with persistence and contentment, and they grew from infants to tiny children. My mental feedings consisted of creativity with a side of beauty and a helping of unity. They were born royalty, so I fed them like queens. I was scared that someone would try to feed them pieces of negativity, so I made them eat extra pieces of peace after I handpicked out the contamination of greed. And they grew, got bigger, much quicker. Sometimes I had to mix up a stew that was thicker, had to make sure it would stick to their ribs. Sometimes I had to force feed my kids. Confidence soup. Ingredients would include beauty, bravery, and gratitude. And I'd whip up discipline with forgiveness mixed in, and bake a bread of patience and butter it with focus. I fed my kids healthy to fill them up with kindness, wisdom, patience, and more love. I baked them desserts mixed with compassion and hope. I wanted them full with all the nutrients needed to cope. And they loved my pie filled with humbleness inside. And before I laid them down to rest, I made sure they had their taste of perseverance and silence, and my self-grown metaphorical herbs, as I softly spoke over and over the same words. You can be anything you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. I seasoned their dreams with belief. So when they'd wake up, they'd believe that dreams don't just take place in your sleep. They are within your reach. And they'd wake up thirsty, so I let them sip on reality. Had to let them know that things are supposed to happen. But just in case from somewhere they got a taste of hate, I kept a laxative of understanding close by to minimize the pain. Thank you.
So Takesha writes these words, and you can tell she writes them from her own life experience. Her children are lucky, lucky children to have Takesha for a mother. But I also wanted to say that Takesha's poem to me, as I read it in preparation for today's show, it was a reminder that we can't give what we don't have. And so this is important for you to know that you need to nurture yourself and to provide those same gifts that you give to your children. So take time to take care of yourselves. Thank you, Takesha. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
This changes everything. TiVo is here. Search and control your cable channels, on demand and streaming video with one remote. Record 6 shows at once and build a library of favorites with one pass recording. Then watch on any TV in your home. Welcome to the ultimate TV experience. Call or visit AntietamBroadband.com to change everything with TiVo.
Antietam Broadband brings you a unique new program that tells the story of the Battle of Antietam in a different way. Antietam, A Soldier's View, takes you hour by hour and places you into the areas where they fought. Antietam, A Soldier's View airs Mondays through Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays only on Antietam Broadband's Channel 6 and 806.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meredith's Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meredith's Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meredithhealth.com/urgent care.
Hello there. I'm glad you're still with us because you will not want to miss our next guest. Julie Gaver is an incredible woman, author, speaker, presenter, consultant. She does it all. But she's one of the women who, in my estimation, really understands that no matter where you are in life, you can always need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of support to get where you are, to get to where you want to be. Julie Gaver brings an incredible amount of passion, talent to our community. She's an avid gardener. She raises funds for local charities. She does it all. Please welcome Julie Gaver onto the stage. Take it away, Julie.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. So I always like to say it's good to see you, but when I stand on a stage, I cannot see you. So how many of you have ever had an experience where you were reminded that you're not as young as you used to be? A couple of you? Well, I've had many, but I had one a couple weeks ago that made me laugh. I was going through the drive-thru at McDonald's for my afternoon pick-me-up. And so I came to the automated area where you place the order, and I said, I'll have a small soda, please. And they said, pull around. And so as I pulled around, there was a young woman working at the window, and she leans forward and she says, I hope you don't mind, but I went ahead and I gave you a senior Coke because I knew that you were over 55. And so she asked for the money, which was significantly less because it was a senior Coke, and she said it was the same size. And so after I paid her, I said, I'm curious, how did you know I was over 55? Because I didn't see cameras at the drive-thru. And she leaned forward, and just as sweet as could be, she said, well, I'm a really good listener, and I could tell by your voice that you were a senior. I know, right? Well, so many times we hear those things and we're reminded and we're brought back to reality. The reality is, I will be 62 this month, and I'm just getting started. How about you? So whether you are in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, or even beyond, the best is yet to come. There are so many transitions that cause us to embrace new changes, new realities. Maybe you have an empty nest for the very first time. Perhaps you're looking at retirement and you're wondering what it would be like to not have that 9-to-5 job anymore. Maybe you've been doing the same thing forever and ever and ever, and you know it's time to do something new, but you don't know what that is. That period of time that I refer to is called, in my words, the third bloom. And so what I'd like to do in my brief amount of time with you today is share with you 3 quick tips that will help you on your way as you start to contemplate your third bloom, whatever that looks like to you. Are you ready? So number 1, it's going to involve that you visit your past, your present, and your future. So tip number 1 is we're going to revisit our past. What this involves is that you will go to your old photo albums, you know, the ones that are no longer on digital, remember that? Real photo albums. And you're going to find a picture of yourself when you thought you were all that. Remember that? You're going to find a picture that reminds you of a time when you were unapologetically who you were before the world told you who you were supposed to be. It's a picture that perhaps makes you deliriously happy, or a picture perhaps that just makes you laugh. Jim's going to show you mine right now. And to that I say snap. I call this picture badass. Because I tell you what, no one told that girl what to do. And no one told that girl what she couldn't do. I want you to find your picture. Find that picture that when you see it, and you'll know when you have found the picture, because it will stir inside of you a feeling of reminiscence. It will stir inside of you a feeling of desire. And I want you to visit her often. So I want you to make that picture your screensaver. I want you to make multiple copies, and I want you to hide them throughout your house and your office so that it surprises you every now and then when you find it. Put one in your underwear drawer. Put one in the cupboards when you go to a snack in the evening and you find it. So when you visit her often, you will remember that that was a girl who had chutzpah. That was a girl who had great dreams and great possibilities. And as you visit her over and over again, you'll harness that inside of you. And that's the most important step when we talk about revisiting our past. Step number 2 is we're going to evaluate the present. Okay? And by evaluating the present, what I mean is you're going to start thinking about what works for you now. What is not working for you now? How many of you have read any of the works by Marie Kondo? Do you all remember Marie Kondo? She's the woman who, she's taken the literary world by storm with her books about removing clutter. And she's the one that talks about, you hold an object, and if it doesn't bring you joy, you get rid of it, right? Well, what I'm advocating is that we start thinking about those types of things as they relate to our life. What are the things that no longer bring you joy? Now, ladies, I am not talking about the husbands. I am not talking about that adult child who just doesn't seem to want to leave home. Okay, that's a whole other segment. okay? What I'm talking about is I want you to evaluate what are the things in your life that take up your time that no longer serve you and bring you joy, okay? Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's, that feeling that you get every Sunday night and you're going to work and you know that it's been a long, long time before you felt that way about getting up in the morning and what you were about to do. Maybe it's a volunteer activity of some sort, okay? Maybe it's something that you signed up to do years and years ago because you were passionate about it, but now you just feel a sense of duty about it. The thing is, when you start to evaluate those things that don't make the heart get excited, and you start eliminating a few of those from your life, what it does is it frees you up and it gives you space in your life so that you can pursue some things that will bring you joy. Does that make sense? And so we talked about the past. We're looking and evaluating the present, and then that brings us to the future. And so step number 3 in helping you initiate a third bloom is that I want you to reimagine the future. And when I say reimagine, the way that we do that is with one very simple question. And the question is this: what if? What if? Because when I hear the question, what if, fill in the blank, what that says to me is it's all about possibility. What if causes us to be creative? What if causes us just to be imaginative? Kids did that all the time, didn't they? What if I did this? What if I jumped off of this, high ledge? Sometimes those didn't have the best consequences, but what if meant that the possibilities were endless. So this is the way what if works. You find some quiet time to yourself. You turn on some music that you love. And I don't care what kind of genre it is, but it has to be music that really makes you feel good and happy. And then you pour yourself a glass of wine or a cappuccino or whatever it is that you love. And you get out a pad and a pen, and you write along the left-hand side, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if. And you fill the page. And you fill a second page, and maybe a third page, because you're going to have 2 glasses of wine, okay? And then you just start to write. And you don't critique it, you don't analyze it, you don't minimize it, you just dream it. And you just start filling in the blanks. What if, what if, what if? What if I stopped working altogether? What if I started working part-time? What if I changed my job? What if I decided to travel? What if I decided to learn French? What if I decided to start calling people I haven't seen in over 20 years to get together with them? What if I took a class in art or music or science? What if I started reading the literature again? And you just keep filling the pages, and you fill the pages until that second glass of wine is over, okay? And then you start to make those things part of the thought process. What if could very well happen. So I want to show you how easy this is, because we're going to do a what if together, okay? Don't be afraid, okay? There is no critique. There is no judgment. This is how easy it is. So I'm going to start by saying what if, and when I look at you, I just want you to shout something out. First thing that comes into your mind, just shout it out, okay? And we're going to go really, really fast. Are you ready? What if
I traveled more outside of the country?
I traveled more outside of the country. What if...
Don't do this to me.
Oh, don't do this to me. What if somebody put me on the spot and I didn't know what to say? Lisa, what if?
I can do anything I wanted.
What if I could do anything I wanted? What if?
I could leave Hagerstown.
Here we go. This is the point when everyone starts looking down. What if?
I could start a nonprofit.
I could start a nonprofit. What if?
I met my neighbors.
I met my neighbors. How many of us have been living next to someone that we really, really don't know? See, that's the what if game. And when you do those three things, you revisit the past, you get in touch with that little girl who had chutzpah and dreams, and no one could tell her what not to do. You start evaluating the present, and you decide what is it that no longer serves you and it's time to get rid of. And then you start looking and reimagining the future, and the what ifs will start to set you free. I want to close by sharing very quickly a beautiful poem that is from one of my favorite authors, and her name is Donna Makova, and she wrote a book that was called I Will Not Die, An Unlived Life. And here's how it goes. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days and to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it comes a wing. It becomes a torch or a promise. I choose to risk my significance to live so that that which came to me as a seed goes on to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. That, my friends, is your third bloom, and the best is yet to come. Thank you so much.
I'd like to have Julie come back up on the stage. So I'm sure you can see why Julie is a highly sought-after speaker. Her words and her message of the third bloom are going to resonate with us long after today's program. I hope that you take those words to heart and that they inspire you to really achieve the destiny that you envisioned as a little girl, that you evaluate now, and that you look forward to in the future. So Prime Time for Women, our motto on the back of all of our business cards is celebrate your past, discover your future, and I think Julie captured that absolutely beautifully. So give Julie a round of applause. I wanted to give Julie a T-shirt and thank her for being on our show today.
My favorite color. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this message.
The Humane Society of Washington County offers refuge to domestic animals in need. Animals like Romeo. Starved and abandoned in the bitter cold, Romeo is not the first animal found in this desperate condition, and he won't be the last. You can help give innocent animals another chance. Even a $10 monthly donation can help the Humane Society of Washington County act quickly to save lives. Can the animals count on you? Visit hswcmd.org to learn more.
If you add it up, 12 spots a year for 25 years, close to 300 different commercials I've used Antietam cable production for. In terms of the experience with the production department, the truth is, we've become friends because we've done it so often. The staff is very, very professional. They make it easy for me to do the spot. That's the biggest thing. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And it works. It brings people to the dealership. And that's all I can ask.
Antietam Broadband brings you a unique new program that tells the story of the Battle of Antietam in a different way. Antietam, A Soldier's View, takes you hour by hour and places you into the areas where they fought. Antietam, A Soldier's View airs Mondays through Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays only on Antietam Broadband's Channel 6 and 806.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meritus Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meredith Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meredithhealth.com/urgent care.
Hello again. I'm glad you're still with us. You are about to be wowed by a nature lover. I'm going to be introducing Carissa Hipp. She is an avid hiker. She started hiking in 2015 after the birth of her child, her third child, and she found quickly that the time on the trail was transformative in mind, body, and spirit. She has an incredible a passion to bring women together on the trail and to enable them to connect with each other. So it's a perfect fit with Prime Time for Women's mission. Carissa is the Maryland ambassador to the national organization Girls Who Hike. She's going to be here to inspire you to get out and hit the trails. Welcome, Carissa. Come on stage. So we have some questions that we're going to ask Carissa, and then hopefully you all will have some questions in the audience too, and feel free to raise your hand, and I'll come down with the microphone and give you an opportunity to talk to Carissa. Okay, so Carissa, you're passionate about hiking. Was there a particular moment that you remember saying, this is my thing?
I don't know that there was one specific moment, but probably the time when I woke up at like 3 a.m. and drove a little over 2 hours away to go on a sunrise hike with some women that I really only knew through the internet. I think my husband questioned my sanity a little bit at that point. But definitely that day, I knew that it was really my thing, and especially after I had been out on the trail with those women and just the wonderful fellowship that we had, the hike that we had, and the beautiful parts of nature that we were able to experience, I was like, yep, I really like this.
And you talk a lot about the nature's power to heal and transform. Can you give us some context and explain what you were experiencing before you started hiking?
Sure. Before I started hiking, I was really out of shape. I was overweight, just not happy with myself completely, and I had struggled in the past with some anxiety and depression. And I found that the more time I spent out on the trail, all of the anxiety and depression started to go away, and my body, I felt like, was healing itself. I lost 50 pounds without really trying, just by getting out and hiking and really feeling confident in my body and its ability to get out on the trail and just take part in these hikes. And early on, I took my daughter with me. When she was an infant, I would just put her on my back and take her along. And we had a really great time until she got to be about 35 pounds. Now it's a little bit harder. And I have to try to be patient and let her take her time to, figure out how she can master the trail. But, it's really been transformative. I always say in mind, body, and spirit. It's been wonderful.
So one of the things that I really was excited about Carissa being on the show is through our Prime Time for Women, we've talked a lot about the research that shows the health benefits of women connecting. Carissa is passionate about the science behind nature's healing properties. Mm-hmm. And so I was wondering but at the same time, you're getting women together, so it's like a win-win-win. But I was wondering if you could tell us, I've shared some of the studies that talk about the health benefits of getting together, but can you tell us some of the studies about the health benefits of being in nature?
Well, there's a lot of research right now, and I really think a lot of it has to do with the fact that in the day and age that we live in, we're so tied to our, digital devices, our cell phones. We live and breathe by those notifications, and we feel like there's this need to instantly get back to someone. And I feel like there's a little bit of a natural pullback from that's happening, and people are trying to get out in nature to reconnect and to get away from all that kind of technology brings to our lives. There's also a lot of research that points to the fact that women and female-only groups, like Girls Who Hike, that they are more willing to explore new things on the trail, that they're more willing to try things like maybe bouldering or, just more difficult trails that they wouldn't necessarily try in a co-ed group. The research that I've read says that women co-lead a lot more than when they're in a co-ed group. There's no alpha leadership position. They problem solve and do things together. And I think that I've witnessed that a lot in the women's hiking groups that I've been with, that there are women willing to try something new or maybe push ahead and try a harder trail that they're not 100% sure they're ready for. And the other women in the group are really encouraging. And that's what I enjoy being a part of and leading.
But that leads me to a next question. So you have women from diverse age, diverse ability levels. Is there some test you have to do to get to hike with you?
There's no test. Literally, we have a Facebook group, and the reason for that, you have to request membership into the group because it's female only, so there's a safety level built in with that Facebook group where you have to request membership. But all you have to do is join the group. I literally have teenagers through women in their 70s. I have some mother-daughter duos that come out on a lot of the hikes.
Mother, daughter, grandmother, triplets, right?
And, I have women who have been hiking all their life, and that's not even me. I've been hiking some when I was younger, but I've been an avid hiker more in the past few years. So, that's usually the first question that women have when they're apprehensive about joining us for their first hike. They're like, oh, I haven't been out in a while, or I don't know if I can do it. Well, we only hike as fast as our slowest hiker, and the women in the group are just a great cohesive unit and cheering each other on and making sure that everybody's comfortable, that we're taking breaks often enough, and it's like a family.
Yeah, that's great. Carissa, I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about the connections that the women make with each other on and off the trail and what this means to them.
Sure. When I first signed up to be an ambassador for Girls Who Hike, it was because I had enjoyed hiking with some other women's hiking groups, but the ones that I had found on Facebook in our area didn't have regular hikes, at least not in Maryland. I had hiked with a group called Mountain Chicks Virginia down at Maryland Heights, and I was really shocked at how far away some of the women came for that hike. There were young women who were in college at Virginia Tech, and for us, Maryland Heights we're lucky enough to have it in our backyard, but there was a school teacher from New Jersey who had driven overnight. So I was like, wow, this is really amazing how these women are willing to come out and really drive quite a distance to see these places that I'm lucky enough to have in my backyard. So I kept looking and looking for these women's groups, and it just wasn't happening that they were having groups have schedule hikes here in Maryland. So when Girls Who Hike was looking for a Maryland ambassador, I decided to step up and go ahead and take leadership of that group. So when I started planning the hikes, we've had great turnouts ever since I began in January of 2018, and it's just a great time for people to get out together on the trail. I think the whole nature connection for the women is important. They're able to connect with nature, and they're able to connect with each other. And I see some really, we have a lot of fun, but there are a lot of deep conversations that take place. I have women who are undergoing chemotherapy treatment right now who come out on my hikes. I have women who are recovering from different kinds of addiction. I have lots of moms who are just stressed and need some me time away from the kids. And I know for me, it took a really long time for me to understand that self-care isn't necessarily bubble baths or pedicures, and it can be for some people. That's fine, but for me it wasn't, and it took a long time for me to understand that I needed to just say, hey, I need some time out on the trail. That's my thing.
I'm going to go down and take the mic out to the audience and see if there's some questions. Perfect. But I'm going to tell you, on the meantime, Carissa did 52 hikes last year, hiked over 300 miles, and yeah, give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
So, does anybody have a question for Carissa? Right here.
Are all the hikes in Maryland, or do you have like a certain radius that you do?
Most all of our hikes have been in Maryland so far. I'm finding out now that I'm getting to know some of the other ambassadors that it's okay to cross state lines a little bit. We had a hike at Harper's Ferry in the West Virginia portion of the park the other week. But for the most part, they are in Maryland. We have amazing trails in Washington County and Frederick County, but we've also extended, we've done Patapsco State Park, we've done Sugarloaf Mountain, and we've also done some really nice hikes up in the Potomac-Garrett State Forest, as well as up in Allegheny County. So I feel kind of bad for our Southern Maryland and Eastern Shore folks. I don't get down there very often, and I hope that in time, Girls Who Hike can offer an ambassador in that part of the state as well. But yeah, they're pretty local to this area, for sure.
Another question for Carissa. Oh. Rhoda?
If you wanted to get started, what are the best shoes to wear when you're hiking? Because I know that sometimes that is a key.
Sure, that's a really good question, and I almost always tell people that's probably, you don't have to get too worried about gear when you go out with us on hikes, but shoes are probably the most important thing. I actually prefer to hike in trail hikers if I can, or trail runners, but during the winter months, or if you're going to be on a trail where you have to do any kind of water crossing, a lot of times you're going to want a waterproof shoe. But it's almost like running shoes. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone, but it's also going to depend on your trail conditions. And that's something that I usually try to list in our hikes so that people know if there's a water crossing, because in the winter, that means you're going to want to wear a boot. In the summer, you might be happy wearing a trail sandal. So it varies with the seasons as well.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Whoops, let me go this way.
What's your favorite trail in this area?
My favorite trail in this area is probably the Thurston Griggs side trail off of the AT up to Black Rock and even out to Annapolis Rock and back. But I really like that. It's a little bit quieter than taking the Appalachian Trail that goes from 40 up to the AT. So I love the water crossings on that trail.
So you can see why Carissa is such an incredible, passionate hiker. She manages to get, how many members are in your group now?
We have almost 700 members, and we're getting to the point where we're having to use Eventbrite for people to sign up for the free tickets and limit them at 25, just for safety, for number of people on the trail and leaders.
So if you haven't seen Girls Who Hike on Facebook, it's one of the best websites out there, or Facebook pages out there. It's really easy to manage. They have a new members Monday, and you can you connect with people through that private group. So I'm so grateful that you were here. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be right back after this message.
This changes everything. TiVo is here. Search and control your cable channels, on demand and streaming video with one remote. Record 6 shows at once and build a library of favorites with one pass recording. Then watch on any TV in your home. Welcome to the ultimate TV experience. Call or visit AntietamBroadband.com to change everything with TiVo.
If you add it up, 12 spots a year for 25 years, close to 300 different commercials I've used Antietam cable production for. In terms of the experience with the production department, the truth is, we've become friends because we've done it so often. The staff is very, very professional. They make it easy for me to do the spot. That's the biggest thing. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And it works. It brings people to the dealership. And that's all I can ask.
Died of a heroin overdose. My son wasn't a druggie. Tell me what happened.
He got mixed up with some gangster.
I'm gonna kill him. What are you doing? My job.
What makes you think you can kill a man?
I read it in a crime novel.
Digital customers, tune to Channel 1 to get started.
The Humane Society of Washington County offers refuge to domestic animals in need. Animals like Romeo. Starved and abandoned in the bitter cold, Romeo is not the first animal found in this desperate condition, and he won't be the last. You can help give innocent animals another chance. Even a $10 monthly donation can help the Humane Society of Washington County act quickly to save lives. Can the animals count on you? Visit hswcmd.org to learn more.
Thank you for seeing us so quickly. He's just unbearable when he's sick.
I'm glad that you came right into Meredith's Urgent Care.
We have just what you need to feel better faster, young bear.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Meredith's Urgent Care is located off Moggins Avenue on Creighton Boulevard. For more information, visit meredithshealth.com/urgent care.
Thank you. Thank you. I have such a treat for you. For the regular watchers of Prime Time for Women, you know that we really put an emphasis on women supporting women, especially female entrepreneurs. And as the average age of women who start businesses in the U.S. is 40, this is such an incredible avenue to give them exposure and to make people aware of their businesses. Our next guest, Heidi Bodenheimer, is one such woman who had the incredible knowledge and a past experience of working her whole life, but has stepped out, sort of like what Julie Gaver was saying earlier about owning her own future, and she has started her own business just within the last couple of months, and she's here today to talk about the Heidi Bodenheimer Health Coaching. Welcome to the stage. So Heidi, before we hear about how you help your clients, just talk to us a little bit about your unique qualifications and all your certifications.
Sure, thank you. Well, that's 21 years worth, so that's a lot. I could be here a very long time.
Okay, just a short figure.
So the most recent is I just graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is the kind of the creme de la creme of health coaching. And that has really, really boosted my credibility as well as my knowledge. I worked with physicians and as well as top gurus in the industry for health and wellness. And so it really kind of rounded my knowledge and expertise in the area.
So can you tell us a little bit about your dietary knowledge, some of the programs that you learned about at that institute?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I learned over 100 again, so I could be here a long time. But you know, there's always the latest and greatest fab, whatever is out there. But what's interesting is that my approach is an inside-out approach, and that's what we developed at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And so with that, what that means is we look at your primary food as well as your secondary food. Your primary food isn't anything that you put in your mouth. Your primary food are things like your relationships, your social life, your friendships, your community, your spirituality, all those wonderful things that make us whole and well. And then the secondary foods are, of course, the foods that we put into our body.
So those primary foods feed your spirit and your soul.
Absolutely, yes. And I always like to say there's not enough kale in the world to fix some of those other things if this isn't on board, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
One of your certification is you're a behavioral change specialist. What is that, and how do you help people change?
Sure, yeah, that was such an interesting course to go through, and I really loved it because, you know, change is hard. No one likes change. And so I got backed with the knowledge and expertise on how to help people do that, because you're always going to be faced with roadblocks and things that want to get in the way of us making a change. And so I get to really help people really. The most important thing is to help people right where you are, right where someone is at this very moment in time. And so from that point on, then I can work with you to make those roadblocks. I kind of give you, I like to say, I give you tools for your back pocket, you know? It's like you have something that you can always come up with and that you can do so that you are equipped with those things that when life hits you hard, because it's not every day that you want to wake up and say, oh, today's my day, I get to be healthy, right? So I help you give tools along the way, and so that's what that helped too.
And where and how often do you meet with your clients?
So that's interesting. It just depends, really, truly. I have services that I offer a variety of different things from, I meet with some clients that are once a week, to some clients that are twice a month, and even some that are just once a month. So it just really depends. My very first session with someone is the Healthy New You session, and that is a free session. And so anyone can come and we talk about, where you are, and I find out a little bit about where you are and what your needs are, as well as you find out a little bit about me and what I can offer. And from that point on, moving forward then, we can kind of come up with a game plan of what is going to work for someone. So it really depends.
Okay, so you meet each person where they are.
Exactly.
That's great. And how can somebody who's interested about health coaching contact you? Do you have a website or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, HeidiBodenheimer.com. And on Facebook, it's Heidi Bodenheimer Health Coaching. And I just recently am on Instagram too, so.
Oh, she's hip now. Okay, yeah. So with all of Heidi's knowledge and her experience, we thought it would be something fun and a little different to have Heidi host a little game show quiz on the stage. So I was wondering, are there anybody in the audience who would like to come up and participate? Oh, my granddaughter's raising her hand. Okay, Maggie, come on up. Who else wants to be on the stage?
Oh, come on. I won't bite, I promise.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Come on up.
I think. Come on up. Yeah.
It's fine. You could win. Heidi, while we're waiting for one more person to come up, tell them what an elite package is.
So my elite package is one that you would meet with me once a week, and so once a week for 4 times a month, and so that's what you will win if you come up. All right.
All right. So here we go. So here's how we're going to do this. Here are the rules. I'm going to read 3 questions that Heidi developed, and then Heidi will take your answers and award points. I'll say how many the points were. I'll keep score, and then we'll see who is the winner, okay?
Sounds great.
So,
you guys ready?
Let's see. For 10 points, Heidi,
okay.
This is what they need to know. What type of workout, running or weightlifting, revs your metabolism and continues to burn long after the workout is over? For 10 points.
I say walking.
Okay.
Is that your final answer? I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
What were the choices?
It just said what type of workout, running or weightlifting. And so when you say walking, that's aerobic. So we'll say aerobic or weightlifting.
Sure.
Okay, aerobic.
Weightlifting.
Okay.
I say weightlifting.
So Heidi, who is correct?
The weightlifting people.
Okay, so that's Maggie.
Yes. I can't tell you how many times, especially...
Shannon.
Yes. Congratulations.
Okay, so it's 10-10 right now.
Yeah.
For 15 points, the keto diet was originally designed to treat which disease? Epilepsy, diabetes, or heart disease?
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Epilepsy.
What is the correct answer?
Epilepsy wins.
Okay, Maggie's 15
Yes, actually,
points.
epilepsy in children. Yeah.
For our third question, and for 20 points, because I'm not giving any help, what are the 3 macronutrients your body needs the most? The 3 macro, and maybe you should start down this end this time,
yes.
because that's not always fair putting her on the
agree.
spot. Maggie, what are the 3 macronutrients your body needs the most?
Protein.
What else? You get to name 3.
3.
Protein.
Protein, amino acids.
And?
Carbohydrates.
Okay.
I'll say protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
Protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
Okay, and what's the correct answer?
Protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
Okay, so Janice.
Yes, our body needs fat.
Okay, and that's 20 points, and you had 20 points here too. Okay, so the score right now is 25 to 30 to 20. Okay, for the final question, which is worth 25 points, how long should the average woman be able to hold a plank?
Hold
A plank.
Do you know what a plank is?
Okay,
Just
so
your body
okay.
weight. Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we should start in the middle this time.
2 minutes.
I say 45 seconds.
30 seconds.
Heidi, the correct answer is?
No one got it right. So the correct answer is someone can hold a plank as long as they don't break form. So the second that someone either, I like to say your tummy sinks down a little bit, or you have your cupcakes, I call these your cupcakes, that they go into the air, you have broken form. So it depends. It depends on how long someone can actually keep it with consistent form. Bernadette,
Yeah.
do you think you can do a plank?
I guess I can try. I will try.
Okay. What do you think? 20 seconds? How long do you think? 20 seconds? 30 seconds? 1 minute. Whoa! Okay. 5 minutes? Whoa. Now let's just take a look at her form, though. Oh, my goodness. It looks great. She looks good, doesn't she? Yeah. Energy through her heels. Yes. Yeah. Who is timing, by the way? I think we should let her hold out for, what do you think? Maybe I should talk to her husband. 8, 7. 6, 5, you got this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. Nice job. Nice job. You guys did amazing.
So our final score was, let's see, 20 to 30 to 25. Janice is our winner.
Yay, Janice, nice job. Congratulations. Nice job.
So Heidi, congratulations to you, and you all can take your seat. What's most important when you do your work? What is the most important message that you try to have all your clients leave with?
I try to make sure that everyone leaves, that they feel good about who they are, that everyone is enough, that everyone feels like they are important. So I like to leave with a message. When I teach my classes, I like to leave with a mantra that I actually have. One of my favorite people is Brendan Bouchard. He's an amazing, amazing person, and his mantra was live, love, matter. And that's what I try to instill in everyone, to live, love, and matter. And so I put a little, because I used to do choreography, right? So live. You put your arms up in the air like this. Can everybody do that? Live. And you gotta do like jazz hands, right? Because that's just fun, right? So you're gonna live. Why? Because living, right? We can add years to our life. Yeah, we can. We can be healthy and add years. But isn't it more important to add life to your years? Yeah? So we're gonna live. Live, yeah. And then, of course, you're gonna love. So love. And it's so important to love the people that are important in your life, right? But more importantly, who? Yourself.
Yourself.
I love me, right? Seriously, yeah? And then, of course, we have to matter, right? Because we all are enough, whatever people might tell us, or what stands in our way. We do matter. We are enough. And so we take the Wonder Woman stance. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Can you take it? Oh, yes. There's something like you just take it. You feel powerful, yeah? So we're going to put those together. And could I have the audience stand? Yeah. And you got to do it with a little bit of drive and passion. We're going to have a practice run here, okay? So you ready? Live. Love. Matter. All right, now we're going to do this all together and we're going to say those words. Are you ready to live, love, matter? Like it matters? All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Live. Love. Matter. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Heidi, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here with Prime Time for Women. We'll see you next time on June 1st. See you then.